podcasts.
5 Live Boxing.
It's day 2 of fight week here in Jeddah. On Saturday, it's the World Heavyweight Championship. It's been the open workouts today, and in that ring, we've seen Anthony Joshua. We've seen Oleksandr Usyk dancing, balancing coins on his head, flipping peanuts, and doing usual Oleksandr Usyk stuff. It's a big fight, and it's attracted big names. One of the greatest modern heavyweight champions has been here. I'm Steve Bunce. This is 5 Live Boxing. We like to keep things as live as possible. We're at the Saudia Club, the Airlines Club. We're in their sports department. This is an indoor football arena that's been turned into the place where they do their open session. Everybody's been in the ring. We've just seen AJ. He looked particularly lean. In fact, he did a bit longer than normal. He was doing the pads with Angel Fernandez up in the ring, and Robert Garcia was on the outside giving the instructions. And I'm trying to see if I can grab hold of Robert Garcia. I see him coming towards me now. Let me see if I can grab him. Come on, Robert, we'll walk and talk, if that's okay. Just hold the mic about there. Sorry about the noise, it's your fighter.
That's right, this is the first time I hear that.
Yes. Now, AJ's over there talking to different fighters. Robert, I know you're used to big fights, but you're under a bit of pressure here. A lot's been placed on your shoulders.
I'm actually I'm very comfortable. I'm really relaxed. Also, it's a huge fight, probably the biggest fight I've been involved in. But you know what? We've been there against Pacquiao, against Mayweather. So
So they're big fights.
They're also big fights, but this is definitely bigger.
Yeah.
But I'm comfortable, because you know why? Because the team is all relaxed. The fighter's relaxed. He enjoyed.
This seems really relaxed.
Yeah, he's nice and relaxed.
It seems ridiculously relaxed.
He enjoyed training camp. Of course we can't say everything went perfect. There was some days where...
And so they should. That's what training camps are meant to be.
Exactly. But we picked right at the moment. I think right now, this is the happiest he's been all training camp. And, it's 5 weeks, so that's a perfect sign.
And a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter.
There you go.
So, without giving away too much, and I don't expect to, you've had to work on different things to change what happened in the last fight. Has it been in a very intensive period?
Well, you know what? Just like the whole boxing world knows, he can't outbox Usyk. So, we got to put a little bit of pressure. Obviously, being smart way. He's a very talented fighter. He's got his combinations are beautiful. Great jab, great straight right hand, great right hands to the body, stuff like that. So we just got to make, train to do it more often. Instead of trying to box, got to try to look for the fight going forward. But we're also not going in there to become a brawler, to become a Maidana type of fighter. None of that. We just got to do it smart.
Do you think too many people underestimate how smart he is as a fighter?
You know what? Yes, from comments that we see, read, and all that, there is a lot of people that do underestimate him. But once you see him in the gym and you've been with him for a few months, you see how smart this man is, how talented he is, how dedicated he is, and you put all those things together and put a little bit more of a mind, where he's positive, mentally, physically ready to go out and do some damage. He's unstoppable.
And was that something that surprised you and mildly and pleased you once you started working with Robert?
You know what? Every day, was like I said, there's never a training camp with a perfect training camp where every day is good, but there was a few days where we have to work on stuff, but we corrected him and he did them and he listened, he followed instructions, and and now comes now he has to go do it in the ring.
Now of course the thing that happened, Robert, with you is that you knew Usyk. He trained in your gym. He'd been there, so you were familiar with him.
You know what? I've seen Usyk train quite a few times. He's very dedicated. He's a warrior. He comes to fight. So we know, he's a true fighter, and his style is awkward and difficult, but that's what we have to do. Those are the challenges that we love, to show that you could be a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. Well, got to go beat Usyk.
You got to go and beat him.
Got to go beat him, and that's what's in AJ's mind. Also, me as a trainer, this would be a huge win for us. My first heavyweight champion, obviously, but also my 15th total. So this would be huge. This will be huge.
15th in a massive fight in a massive global event.
That is right. You know, this, like I'm telling you, I've been in there against Mayweather, against Pacquiao, but this is definitely bigger. This is the biggest event that I've been involved in, and I'm very pleased and happy to be here.
And you know the thing. And thanks for this. We just walked outside. We're just walking into the other room here, where obviously you're doing your final stuff. And I really appreciate this, Robert. It seems to me, and I've met you a few times. You're loving this, aren't you?
You know what? I love this because
you know why?
I love challenges. I love these challenges, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm very proud to be part of this team. I am very happy. I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite camps right so far. We've been doing great. Everything's been going good, and I think we're gonna have good results.
Yeah. And I must say, to spend the time with us here tonight with this walk from back there to out here in the hot air. AJ's just disappeared inside the VIP area. Not sure my pass will get me in there. So I'll say thank you very much, Robert. Thank you for your time and enjoy yourself.
Appreciate
and hopefully,
thank you very much.
We'll talk at midnight
Definitely
or 1
will.
o'clock after the fight.
We definitely
and it'll
will.
be brilliant.
Definitely will. Thank you very much.
And we will have a special fight.
I think so. Definitely.
And your man can do it, Robert.
I know he can. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Robert Garcia, thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
So as Robert walks away to go into the exclusive part of this Air Saudia compound here in Jeddah, and I wouldn't have got in there. I'm quite good at getting in place, but I wouldn't have got in there. In fact, I didn't want to try it, really. When Robert's gone off in there, and I can see them through the window. They're doing their stuff. Now, before AJ got up in the ring, I was backstage in one of the converted squash courts, and Evander Holyfield walked through. And of course, just like Oleksandr Usyk, he was a great cruiserweight champion who then made the transition to heavyweight. And he was a small man who had to use all of his smallness to his advantage, the speed, the fact that he could be in and out of range. He was a brilliant convert. He was a brilliant cruiserweight. He was a brilliant heavyweight champion. And I managed to get some time with him, and the first thing I asked him was, well, it was obvious, I could see from the glee in his eyes. And the first thing I said to him was, Evander, this must surely be the type of fight that you love.
Well, yes, because I was a small guy, and I came up and had to do the same thing that Usyk would have to do.
Were you impressed by the way Usyk boxed in their first fight? Were you shocked?
No, I wasn't shocked because I realized I moved up to heavyweight division because I knew I was faster than all the heavyweights. And I realized, okay, plus I'm making more money because I'm fighting the heavyweight. And the heavyweights are the less skillful fighters.
But can AJ turn it around from that first fight where he tried to be the boxer? What does he have to do, Evander, to turn it around in this fight?
He had to fight like the big guy fight. I'm the big guy, I'm talking about, as a big guy, you telling that little guy, all right, come on up in here, you come in here, you go get hit with these hammers. Like this. So if it's Usyk stay back and like this and he put his weight on Usyk, then it's gonna be difficult for Usyk.
That's exactly what Riddick tried to do every time he ever fought you. He tried to put all his bulk on your bulk.
Yep, exactly. But that's how a big guy fight. And so the thing is that if you get caught up into the big guy fight and showing him that you're stronger than him, then you start getting a little tighter because you trying to prove something when you should be moving. And like this, and so once it was Emmanuel Stewart that told me, he said, your fight, the first fight wasn't actually wrong. You had to think, you put too much out there in the first round when you should have outboxed him these rounds. Then both y'all got tired, then you just outgut him. Like this, I said, okay.
But Evander, it was impossible. I saw most of your big fights in Vegas. It was impossible to outgut you, my friend.
Well, but the thing is, but that's the individual core of you. Are you gonna quit? And I think most small guys, they always get picked on, so they don't never quit because they know what it is because their whole life they came up that way.
So what's your gut feeling? Here we are a few days out. What's your gut feeling about the fight? Not necessarily the winner, but what's your gut feeling about the way the fight opens up?
Well, the gut feeling is if everybody fight, they fight and fight like they're accustomed to fight, then I think Usyk will win. I think that it would have to be a major change for for Anthony. You know, my whole thing. I think he liked being himself, and being himself. He's not a bully. I like to chat with you. I like to talk with you, and all this.
And finally, and thank you. Finally, as a cruiserweight moving up, and as another cruiserweight moving up, the two of you are champions. What a fight that would be! Usyk and Holyfield. Usyk and Holyfield, outdoor, 100,000. What a fight that would have been.
Well, it would have, but we're in two different areas, and so we both, just like he broke my record, because records are meant to be broken. So, but the art of the game is set a record and give somebody something to break. Yeah, so that's the whole big thing, that's what life is all about. Each generation getting better.
Vander, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. So that was Evander Holyfield, a man that needs no introduction. What a fighter he was. Being ringside for some of his fights was truly incredible. And if ever there was a cruiserweight who proved that a good cruiserweight can become a great heavyweight, it was him. Well, I've left Holyfield. He's backstage. I've walked back into the arena, and I'm going to try and sort of assess the day. And I'm joined by Matchroom CEO Frank Smith, who has informed me has only been on the show once before, and he knows the exact time, and he knows exactly how long he was on for, which makes me feel terrible. Frank, first of all, let's just, in general terms, we're back in Saudi. How's it been? It's a simple, it's simple. How's it been?
Firstly, I never thought I'd follow up after Evander Holyfield.
Yeah, so that's not bad.
That's the first thing I'll say. No, it's good.
You could retire now.
I know.
That's not bad.
Actually done. I'm just going to mic drop, right? No, it's good. It's good to be back in Saudi. It's been nearly close to 3 years since we had Riyadh, the Riyadh season. AJ against Ruiz. He's come here once, won his belts back, and he's come back to do it again. So, just a few days to go. Hopefully, we see a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world.
Now, you've been around Anthony Joshua, boy and man, because you've been at Matchroom basically most of your adult life, haven't you? To be honest, in fact, half of your adult life has been spent in Matchroom. You've been around him. Have you seen anything different in AJ this week? No, I don't just mean the fact that he slimmed his waist down to about 24 inches. You've been around and you've seen him. Good times, bad times. What have you noticed this week, Frank?
I think, he's in a good place, mentally very strong. I've been lucky enough, as you say, to be around him since he turned pro back in 2013 or 2012. I took him for his medicals when he first turned pro.
That's great.
Back in the day. So,
But bus of hope.
Yeah, I'm the same with him now. I used to wind him up then, now I still wind him up now. But he's a great character. He loves the sport, and I think he's still got so much to give. Being around him the last couple of weeks, he's in a great place mentally, physically. He's got a few new people in the team, and I think you're going to see a different Anthony Joshua this time round. It's not the first time he's come back from a loss.
Yeah,
he did it against Andy Ruiz, and I think
which was a terrible loss, a horrible loss.
Yeah, but I think this one, he knows what he needs to do. Yeah. He knows what he needs to go in there, get in there and do. The funny thing is, everyone tells him what he needs to do, but no one's actually in there fighting Oleksandr Usyk. So, but I think he's, all you can say, he's put all the work in. For a guy who's done what he's done in the sport already, he's still so dedicated to carry on and keep going, and that's great to see, because a lot of people at this point would have probably given up.
Because he's made a lot of money, and he's had a lot of recognition, and he doesn't get anywhere near enough respect. I discussed that with Eddie earlier in the week, and I've written extensively about that, and I will continue to write about it. I still don't think he gets enough respect, but it is still hard, even with the hunger. Even though you want to do it, you want to win the world title for the third time, it is still hard to have a genuine craving to win. Not all fighters have got that. You've been around Matchroom now, as I say, 13, 14 years, and you've seen good fighters. They do take their eye off the ball once they achieve and start making money, Frank.
Yeah, but I think when you're around him, you see what he's done. Like, he takes himself out of comfortable situation. He's now been training in Loughborough. He's been in Saudi for the past 5 weeks. He's not a comfortable, look, he could retire. If it was just about money, he could retire yesterday, 5 years ago. But he's still got so much more to give the sport. And that's what you need. You need that drive and that hunger, and he's still got it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here doing it. He's still got a lot to give. And I think, as you say, he doesn't get enough credit in the sport. I think, arguably, he wins Saturday night. He's beaten the pound for pound 1, 2, 3, top 3 or 4 fighters in the world in Oleksandr Usyk.
Yeah.
He has to, at that point, be given the credit.
Yeah. And bear in mind that, he's been almost universally written off here. You know, some people that I consider even level-headed judges think he'll be lucky to get 5 or 6 rounds, which, you know, I'm quite shocked by that. Let me switch a little bit to Usyk, because obviously you promoted shows where Usyk's been the top of the bill against various fighters, obviously Tony Bellew and obviously Derek Del Boy Chisora, who's floating around here. We're going to hear from Del Boy in a moment. He's a joy to promote as well, isn't he? Usyk.
Del Boy. Oh, Usyk.
Del Boy's a joy to promote sometimes. Keep your voice down in case he hears us. But Usyk's a joy to promote, isn't he?
No, he's great. Look, we've had a good relationship with Usyk now, all the way back to, you know, when he fought Tony Bellew. What was that? 2018 now, late
long
2018.
Time ago, yeah.
When he defended those
So long
cruiserweight
ago.
belts. You know, then he's moved up to heavyweight. And you know, it's been a great relationship with him, the team, Alex Krasik, Aegis, and he's a great fighter to be around. What's he had? 370 amateur fights. You know, become undisputed cruiserweight champion, unified heavyweight champion. He's a brilliant fighter. You can't take that away from him. You say there about AJ before, about the rounds. I think in the first fight, he lost by 4 rounds.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't an embarrassment.
No, it was an 8-4 fight.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But now he goes into a fight knowing what he needs to do. He openly says the game plan in the first fight wasn't the right game plan. And he knows what he needs to do this time round. So he's gone in there against a boxer who's had close to 400 amateur and pro fights, and not been embarrassed, you know. So, like, all these people who write him off, he knows what he needs to do, and I think he's going to go in there and do it.
And also, there's a couple of things about Usyk, and this is that Usyk's a lot bigger than we ever give him credit for. His dimensions are vast. You know, he's not a cruiserweight. He's not even a cruiserweight like you followed Evander Holyfield today. I'm just saying Evander Holyfield followed Roque Garcia. So that's the way it works. But Evander Holyfield, even though his dimensions were decent, they weren't Usyk dimensions. And Tony Bellew used to talk about Usyk. He was meant to be like 6'3", and Bellew would go, yeah, he's every bit of 6'5", or 6'4". You know, he was a big cruiserweight. Anyway, listen, forget those two for a second, because I want to hear from Derek Del Boy Chisora. I want to play you this little bit of Derek Del Boy Chisora. I caught up with Del Boy a bit earlier on, and really all I could ask him, because he was floating all over the place, because he's known Usyk, he shared the ring with him, and he's known Joshua since Joshua first walked in the Finchley gym, 15, 16 years ago. So I started by asking Del Boy what his gut feeling was.
You know what? For what's on the line, it's not a big event, let's be honest. It's okay. You know, half of the people in here are Europeans and Americans and stuff like that, and journalists. But fight fans alone are not here.
Yeah. Now, have you and AJ sat down and had a chat about Usyk? Did you do it before the first fight? Have you done it before this fight?
No.
Are you surprised by that?
No, he has to figure it out himself.
But surely you can help him and give him some
I figured out
suggestions.
myself.
You did figure it out yourself.
Yeah, we saw it, and we said we can't outbox him. But what we can do is out-bully him and rough him up and just hit him wherever we can hit him.
And as often as possible.
Exactly.
And as early as possible.
Exactly. So I had to be... It was not me about... when I trained for his fight, I had to be more fitter than ever. So I can just keep punching wherever I can punch.
And it worked, Derek. It worked for most of the first 6 or 7 rounds. It worked.
It worked.
And he can be beat, Oleksandr Usyk. He can be pushed back.
But he's going to get beat by AJ this time. Listen, I'm not just saying this because AJ is my mate, because he's a fellow Brit. AJ is going to knock him out.
And you're convinced of that with sensible pressure?
Yes.
And you're convinced that AJ is smart enough as a fighter to put that pressure on, not take risks?
Yes. AJ's going to knock him out. Because last time he didn't put his power punches together.
And with Usyk, some people suggest he's not a big puncher, but he's a clever puncher. Is that a fair comment, Derek?
Yeah, if he wrong foots you, he can knock you out.
And what do you mean by wrong footing?
There's a way. There's ways of, like, if he's going to the left and you suddenly want to go to the left with him and he comes back to the right and then chucks a shot. This is different. I don't know how to pronounce
So that's smart. Basically, he's showing you one way. He goes the other way. Then when you turn around, he catches it.
Yeah, and because you're turning around in his power shots, and then boom, he hits you.
So what is it that he does well there? Because you overpowered him for a few rounds, you pushed him for a few more rounds, and he beat you on points. So what is it that he does well? Because he's not a big man. He's not as small as some people say, though, is he?
No, he's not. But he does well, send things well. He moves the ring very well. He understands where the rhythm of the punches you're chucking. You know, he understands the game well, you know.
And once the fight started, will you know that AJ is on the right track straight away? Will you be able to tell?
Nah, you can only tell after like 4, 5, 6 rounds.
Oh, you think that? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got this long-standing relationship and friendship with AJ that goes back to Finchley days, many, many years ago, a long time ago. But how's Oleksandr Usyk when you're around him? How are you and him?
We're cool. You know, his son, Alexander's son, is a big fan of mine. He loves me, his son. We're cool. Me and Alexander's whole team, his managers, and everybody, we're all right. There's nothing there. It's just, you know, cool. You know, we actually have a conversation, a very weird conversation. But when we look at each other's eyes, we know exactly what we're talking about.
But you and him, you can do this thing.
Yeah, we're talking about our kids. That's it.
That's lovely, though, isn't it?
That's it, man. You know, it's because you know he's got his wife, his kids, and they're here as well.
Yeah.
So this is a hard fight.
And finally, Derek, 10 or 12 days ago, Tyson Fury said he was going to fight you. You 8 or 9 days ago were waiting for the contract, and then he retired. What? Give me some insight into this craziness, please.
Listen, we love Tyson. You know, the guy he's just got bipolar, man. 1 minute is doing something else, 1 minute is doing something else. You never know.
But you still might get the call.
I might still get it, I might not get it, but you know what?
It doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter. I'm still on my own journey. I'm on my own path right now.
Listen, you're on a unique journey. Derek, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much, sir.
That's Derek Del Boy Chisora, Frank, because we're being cleared out of the ringside area here. Let's park Derek Del Boy Chisora. In fact, let's park Anthony Joshua, and if we can, and Oleksandr Usyk. And we're standing in front of a massive poster of all the men and women that are fighting on the undercard. Let's deal a little bit with Ramla Ali, the first professional fighter, the first amateur fighter to ever have a fight here in Saudi Arabia. That's a massive move, massive gains from when we were here in December 2019.
Yeah, look, huge moment. What Ramla Ali's done in her career, you know, she's got such a story that's been told and, you know, been told many a times, but this is a huge moment for her, you know, becoming the first female to have a professional fight in Saudi Arabia and the first of many as well. Yeah. It's great to see, you know. We did a promo actually with her, and just the story that she'd come through to get to where she is now. And this is a momentous occasion, not just for her personally, but for the sport as well.
And I was talking to Callum Smith a bit earlier, and we might hear from him on the BBC later in the week. Callum's got a really hard fight against this Frenchman, Mathieu Bordeaux, up at light heavy, in a division where, to be perfectly honest, Frank, nobody who's good should have an easy fight because there's so many fighters, and that was proof recently when we had that brilliant domestic fight, Craig Richards against Joshua Barazzi, which I think was just class. It was brilliant. It was domestic. There's no easy fights at light heavyweight, and this is not easy on Saturday night for Callum Smith.
No, a tough fight. You know, Bordeaux, former European champion, you know, WBC final eliminator. The winner goes on to fight Beterbiev or maybe Anthony Yard because they're looking to fight later this year. But you know, Callum's ready to go. He fought on the undercard of Usyk Joshua 1.
Yeah, that's right. And a great win.
Hotspurs. Great win, great finish knockout, as well. Yeah. Great stoppage. Great win there for him. And, you know, he's ready to go. He's obviously been a world champion at 168 and he's looking for to become two-time world champion, two-weight world champion.
And I like the look of him because he's got that slim look, but generally he's got that slim look. And, you know, I said it to him when I spoke to him earlier on. He sometimes looks terrible facially because he's drawn, where he's got the slim look, but his face looks normal. So that extra 7 or so pounds, I think that's going to be really beneficial for him.
It was always amazing that he made 168.
I had to look away when he weighed.
Yeah.
I hated to see his face.
But he did it for so long, didn't he? He did it for so long. He won the World Boxing Super Series as well. Won some massive fights. So, you know, he belonged at that. You know, he belonged there. But now he's stepping up. Obviously, he fought Canelo at 168. Didn't go his way. But I think he's got a big chance of winning a 175 belt. You know, Beterbiev, not a lot of people want to fight him. Yeah. But, you know, Callum's up for any challenge.
And he's big at that weight. And another light heavyweight on the bill. I know he's not one of your fighters. He's a fighter because of the way this bill's been constructed. Young Ben Whittaker. Whittaker, who's a terrific fighter. I mean, whether or not he's signed to you guys is irrelevant. He's a good fighter. I think we can all agree on that. And don't worry, I'm not looking for you to do a 5 minutes on Ben Whittaker. I've done that bit. He's a terrific fighter. He's on the bill. That's what the bill is. And then the two big heavyweights, Hrgović and Zhang. We saw Zhang up in the ring. The place was shaking. He may not even be the heaviest heavyweight, but there's something heavy about him. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
When he moves, you know he's moving. You sense he's in the room, the big Chinese guy.
Look, it's a massive fight. This guy, between these two guys, Hrgović and Zhang, become the mandatory challenger for the winner of Joshua and Usyk, the IBF mandatory challenger. You know, Hrgović has been long feared. We went through 14 names to get an opponent for Hrgović for this IBF mandatory. Zhilei Zhang, he fought on the Canelo undercard in May. He had a great stoppage. It wasn't the toughest test, but he had a great stoppage, and he looks in great shape. You know, he's obviously the much older man, much more experienced man in the program. I think early rounds we're going to see a real entertaining fight. Whether it goes beyond 3 or 4, who knows? But I think we're going to have a bit of entertainment there.
Let's hope we get a few more than that in the main event. Not that it matters that much. Frank, thank you so much for finding a little bit of time to talk to me. I promise you I won't leave it nearly 3 years again before I speak to you. It's not personal. You appreciate that, don't
That's
you?
right. I'm very shy, Bunty. It's fine. Don't worry. Just speak to Eddie. I'm in the background.
We do speak to Eddie. Frank Smith there, the CEO of Matchroom, giving me a little bit of time at the end of what has been a very busy day 2 here in Jeddah. We've seen the fighters in the ring. They didn't take their tops off, so we have no idea what shape they're really in. But I can tell you now that, in my opinion, Usyk looks a little bit heavier and Joshua looks a little bit lighter, but nothing substantial, nothing that swings the fight either way massively. We're getting closer and closer to the fight. Well, I love a fight week, especially I love a fight week when you're overseas and it's hot. I don't even mind Finland in November.
Let's get ready to rumble! 5 Live Boxing.